I got to look back on that every so often. Anytime I want to sleep in, I'm like, I can't do it, man. There's too much to be done. I need to either help my team out, help my family out, help myself out, get notes going for the podcast, get things going for the green log book, whatever it might be. I need to be useful, not only to myself, but to the people around me.
Yeah, it's the times of the day that you mentioned in the morning, early in the morning. Late at night is another time of
Oh
day
yeah.
where you can actually get some quiet time where people are just winding down. Some people go to sleep early. In the early
Hmm.
morning and the late evenings is where I get a lot of my mental work done. And
Yeah.
really, if you want to be useful to others and if you want to be helpful to others, if you want to love other people and want other people to love you, like you have to be able to do that first in order to get it
Oh yeah.
in return. And it's not like a transactional thing. It's more like this is what I'm putting out to the world and this is what the world is giving me back. So yeah, totally. The mornings are my favorite time of day. A quiet bathroom by myself is another one of those great
Yep.
places where you can just get a
That's
lot
a
of
good one.
thinking done. I actually learned that when I was deployed. I would go find, like in the desert, I would literally go find the porta potty as far away from everybody else as I
Yeah.
could. And
Yeah.
funny enough, there was one like in the middle of the desert, like you couldn't even see the buildings around. And I would just go out there and sit for, an hour and I would type on my phone and type up some notes and just
Yeah.
have a nice little quiet session with myself and think and, turn off the distractions. And yeah, it's perfect.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Amidst all the
Yeah.
chaos, you need to find time to yourself. You need to find a quiet time to, write, to read, to, you know, tap into your creative thinking. Think about how you're going to proceed with the next step in your life. I think that is key, and that is what a lot of people don't or refrain or forget about doing. Right, taking time to themselves to actually, you know, think about these things or write something down. What their next step in life is going to be. Uh, yeah. I guess what else stood out to you in that podcast? Because I didn't hear the Tim Ferriss one, and I'm sure it was similar to like the Rich Roll one that I listened to. But any other quotes or anything else that stood out to you about it?
Yeah, really. I mean, so it's funny because Tim Ferriss and Rich Roll kind of, I won't say they have this battle, but they essentially, some of the people that they interview, they try to like, one of them puts it out first or the other one puts it out first. And
Hmm.
usually it's Tim puts it out first and then Rich puts it out like right
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
Same with like the Rick Rubin interview and a bunch of other interviews. But in that, in that
Hmm.
podcast, I mean, so the first thing that really stood out to me is the fact that I guess he had just been going through some really tough medical issues, had a massive
Hmm.
surgery done, and he wasn't
Yeah.
sure if he was going to live. Like he almost died in the hospital. And so
Mm.
that in and of itself, after coming off of, a really hard political tour and term prior to that, and then just dealing with those physical ailments and things like that, and then the fact that he is still a bodybuilder, like you see him in a lot of his videos on social media where he's just out there at Venice Beach or wherever just working out.
That's right.
To not be able to do that, and like that's your entire life, and to not be able to do that for just a
Hmm.
day is really kind of it would destroy your ego for one, but it would destroy like your expectations of what things are and really make you kind of like want to rethink things. So the one thing I did notice for sure that stood out to me immediately was the interview that he did. He was literally sitting on his terrace. He had like, I think it was recording with a phone. It wasn't even a full frame shot. He didn't have a microphone.
Hmm.
And
Just what he
yeah,
had.
it was literally
Yeah.
just him sitting on the porch or
Yeah.
on the terrace with his phone. I think his dog was there at some point. Maybe one of the other animals running around. He's got a few animals running around his house. But it was
Hmm.
just really raw and it was really personal. It felt like a one-on-one call with him. And he did mention something in there that I liked, which was how he grew up and something that most people may or may not know, that his dad was really hard on him. Like his father was really hard on him and his brother both. His father was a police officer there where they grew up in Austria, I guess. And he was just really tough on him. And for whatever reason, Arnold was the one who had the shoulders that could carry the burden and deal with it. And he said that that actually propelled him and drove him. Like that was kind of his fuel. And he said for his brother, on the other hand, his brother it really destroyed him over time. And there were a couple times when his brother like ran away from home, and then later on in his life, he turned to alcohol and became addicted to alcohol. And he
Hmm.
died actually fairly young. So he's already passed away. But that was one of the things that stood out to me really, really interesting was the fact that how two guys in the same household growing up under the same roof with the same father absorbed the energy that the father was giving them, right? One took it and used it as fuel, the other
That's
one
right.
took it and it kind of just like destroyed his willpower and destroyed his
Yeah.
his effort that he put out. So that really stood out to me, and I think I won't say it's something that you can actively control, but I think it's something you can
Hmm.
definitely recognize and potentially change the course of where that energy is going and how it's being absorbed.